What's up? In this video, you are going to find out if success is luck or hard work or a combination of both or neither. Which is it? I'm going to break it down in this video. But I got to tell you, first and foremost, I am going to share a guy who you're going to have to go check out his videos. So you might not even want to watch any more of my videos, but nonetheless, I got inspired by this guy I'm going to share in a second's video where it talked about luck because there's something I've talked about with my own success. And he explained it better than I could ever explain it. So I'm going to share that video and share this little section, just like a little 20-second section, and then tie that in to my story and my life. And I'll also link this up in the description and the comments below. So here is the video. Here you go.
Something called your surface area of luck. Simply put, the amount of serendipity that will occur in your life is directly proportional to the degree to which you do something you're passionate about, combined with the total number of people to whom this is effectively communicated. So, to increase our surface area of luck, we can either increase.
All right, so there we have it. I absolutely love that. So let me actually, hold on one second. Let me pull up one more thing here. Share screen, window. So I'll just pull this up here and there. There we go. So you can see surface area of luck. So yeah, let's keep moving it. Surface area of luck. Doing what you're passionate about times the number of people whom you effectively communicate this idea. And so, and let me grab that link for everybody too, so I can put the link to that video. He talks about luck in a way that I'm not going to be able to articulate right now, but I'm going to throw that in the comments so you can check it out. I think it's a great video. But here's the thing. You may be phenomenal at what you do. And I have seen a lot of people who are really great at what they do, but yet no one really knows what they do. And so I have lived both of these worlds. I have lived for when I started my video production company and nobody knew what I did. Nobody knew that I was doing it, to a place where a ton of people knew what I did. And I did really well. And there's levels of time where it seems literally effortless. If all I did and all you did was hear about a current scenario and what went down in that scenario, you would be flabbergasted because it looked like I put in no effort. I mean, I've literally, been able to get jobs that I didn't even get on the phone with and took me 20 minutes over email. I've done ones where I had 7-minute phone conversations. And pretty much I've had a batting average of every conversation I've had recently, I've gotten the job. Now, these are some video jobs that I've recently still done here and there. When the price is right, I still do it. But basically, there was a time in my career where I had no brand or no reputation, and I might have to talk to 10 people to get 2 jobs to make $2,000, and those calls were an hour apiece. Whereas I made, on one scenario recently, I made almost $12,000 from basically 37 minutes of phone conversations. And if I say that and all you look at that is the right now, well, what you would miss is 18 years of planting seeds and building relationships and building a brand and building a reputation. And both those opportunities were from people that I knew for anywhere from 8 to 10 years. And so this wasn't a stranger who didn't know who I am or what I do, and I'm trying to explain to them what I do and trying to sell them on what I do. And so what I realized is I've helped a lot of people in the video production space and even specifically weddings, because I had a very successful career doing multiple 6 figures a year for years in the wedding industry. But what I didn't realize is that by chance and luck, I fell in love with doing something that it's almost as if I got paid to market. But I didn't do it because I got paid to market. I did it because I loved it genuinely. I liked doing weddings. I liked people. And I liked doing this thing called a same-day edit. And there's other people who, well, they don't like people very much. They don't like weddings, and they sure don't like doing a same-day edit. But they're doing weddings because somebody told them they should. And they feel it's the best way to get started in video. I couldn't be further from the truth, because if you hate something, it's going to be really hard to succeed at it. And so, but the people who do, and you unlock that for them, I've seen great success. So here's the thing. If you take two videographers that are both shooting weddings, and in 1 year's time, they both have similar websites, similar quality of work, and similar pricing. But the one videographer, now there's no DVDs anymore, so we'll call it a thumb drive, but they choose not to do a same-day edit. They choose not to put the video online, and all they do is give the couple a DVD or a thumb drive. And now it's that couple, and let's say they don't put it online either. Probably more rare nowadays than it was when I started, but let's just play with that for a second. You can imagine that probably the average couple might not show that video to more than 10 people. They're going to have their close family and friends, all of which may or may not be getting married or know anybody who is. And so now that videographer has 30 weddings, and essentially on average 10 people see that video because they don't put it online to share it anywhere, and they don't do the same day edit. So now, as a byproduct, that videographer, if I'm doing my math correctly, has about 300 people see their work over the course of a year. Now, if we take that, so I get this right, 300 times, say, 10 years, over a 10-year period of time, if they kept that same strategy up, they'd have an average of maybe 3,000 people in 10 years who've seen their work. Now, contrast that with me. I was doing a same-day edit. I put the video in front of people that night, and on average, it was probably 150 to 300 people. So let's round that down to 100 people. So just in person, before I even go home, hand out, DVDs or thumb drives or put it online, I now have 100 people times 30. So in 1 year's time, I have gotten my work in front of the same amount of people doing the same amount of weddings as that person did in 10 years. Now, I put it online and get an average of 1,000 views per video. Okay? Now, you do that math. That's 30,000. So in that year, there's been potentially 33,000 people that saw my work. If you could consistently keep that up times 10, you would have 330,000 eyeballs in a 10-year period of time that has seen your work versus 3,000. So even though both people from an efforting standpoint are both spending 10 to 12 hours that day working, they're both editing a really great video, they're both friendly people, they both have similar websites, they both have similar pricing. Just the simple act of the one person doing things to get their work seen by more people and the other person not, that person who's got their work seen by 50,000, 100,000, 200, 300,000 people in a 10-year period of time, 10 years in, is going to have a heck of a lot easier time getting work than the person who's done the same amount of work year after year. Now, we're assuming that that person was able to still get 30 weddings a year and the other person's getting 30 weddings a year. Ultimately, what I saw happen at the beginning of my career is there were videographers who were in business for 15 to 25 years who were struggling and still had to do a lot of marketing and promotion to get work. And they had decent work, but they were doing a version of what I was saying, which is they weren't getting their work in front of very many people. They weren't doing same-day edits. They were charging people extra to put it online at times. And I went from the guy in the back of the room who was charging $500 and didn't know what I was doing, learning from these people at the beginning of my career in like 2005, 2006, to within 3 years, I'm speaking to the same people and they're asking me how I'm getting $2,000 to, $3,000 to do my work. They'd have to give their whole studio away to get more than $2,000. And I think the thing that's at play there is a lot of invisible things. As I've talked about with a lot of my clients, there's a lot of things, just my personality, my overall demeanor. Like there's a lot of those things that aren't necessarily things that are obvious to me. And then there was this idea that I got my work seen. Again, if we bring this back up, surface area of luck, doing what you're passionate about times the total number of people whom you've communicated it with, right? Very important, because the more people that see your work and know what you do and are clear about it, and if they like you and you do a good job, the higher the opportunity that you're going to have people contacting you about doing that. And here's what I've found about the work that I've done in the realm of coaching is that I've been that person who, quite frankly, is the guy not getting much online, right? Like right now, if you're on here and you're listening, the likelihood is you have no idea how I could actually help you one-on-one, how I could coach you, how that coaching relationship would be like, how it would work. Because right now, all I'm doing is technically talking at you. I'm not actually doing exactly, I'm doing a version of what I would do because I'd be talking, but at the same time, it's still different. You know, if you take video, when I did a same day edit, when I've done video work, somebody can look at that video and go, I want that. Easy. I'm having an event. I want you to do what you did there for me. I don't want you to make something like that for me at my thing. But when it came to, if you just look at me right now and go, do you want this? You might be like, do I want what? Do I want you to talk? We already talking. Well, you're talking here for free. Why would I need to hire you? Right? You could say a whole slew of things. If I lined up 5 of my clients who've had incredible results on a park bench and sat them all there, and you stood next to me, I said, do you want that? Do I want what? Right? But there's a big difference. I had one of my clients today who she's had such an observable difference in her life and the way that she's showing up, the way she's interacting, her confidence, that somebody that she's known for a very long time is like, hey, I noticed that you're acting a little different. Like you seem to be a little more confident. You're speaking up about certain things you would have never spoken up before. Like, what's going on? So there's an observable difference because that person knew my client for such a long time that they've noticed them showing up differently. And so then they started talking about what I do, but it's still different. Now they have somebody where they can see a difference in, and they go, I want that difference. I want that for my life. But what I've realized is that's totally different. I'm doing it one at a time, right? And I'm going to start doing more where I'm doing more public coaching again and having people who are willing to get on camera and have me do a little jumpstart with them for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes on camera, because I think it's a win-win for everybody. I get to demonstrate what I can do to people, so it helps with promotion and marketing of my services. It helps people who aren't ever going to be able to work with me for one reason or another. They're scared, they can't afford it, whatever it is. And then the person who's maybe like, I don't care, I'm willing to be on camera, get potentially some free support. And so I want to do that. But like, when you think of your service or your business right now, how many people actually know what you do? How many people are clear about what you do? How many people are aware of what you do? And when you think about that, even though you're working, even though you're putting together a website and you're doing different things, or you're putting up videos, like I'm putting up TikToks and Instagrams and YouTubes and all these things every day. Yeah, we can do that. But the reality is that just because you're going through the motions, putting up, 15 pieces of content a day, if every one of those pieces of content literally just say 2 views, you're not going to have 200 people inquiring if it doesn't even have 500 views. And so I love that. And again, yes, this is James. What's up, my friend? This is live on. This is live on YouTube. It's live in like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8 different places. And if you, I should be able to see all the comments pretty much from everywhere. But yeah. So I just saw this. Like I said, I'll put the comment in the description on YouTube. I don't know if it shows up there, but I think a few of the places the YouTube video popped up. But yeah, doing what you're passionate about times the total number of people to whom you've effectively communicated this increases your chances of luck and serendipity to happen, right? Because if you're going through the motions, and this a lot of people would call leverage, right? So I happened to fall in love with doing that same day edit. So I got paid to do my job while all these people who didn't have to pay me a dime got to experience what I did. And if they knew someone who was getting married, then they could tell. My mom, if I was getting married right now, my mom went to a wedding this weekend. She's not on Facebook or social media or anything, so she's never going to see that video from that couple. If she's not that close, she's probably never going to see the video that they're given. And if they don't do the same day edit, my mom would never see that video of that videographer. My mom's already been to a few of my brother's friends, and they've sent me pictures of the videographer there. The probability is next to none, unless my mom intentionally hunts it down, that she's ever going to see that videographer's work. But let's say he at least did the same day edit. While my mom is sitting there, she could see that video, never go up to my brother or his friend or anybody who's there, and go straight up to the videographer and go, my son is getting married and he doesn't have a videographer, and I think that is absolutely amazing what you did. Could I get your information and pass it along? Right? And that's what I had happen in my video career that I have not had happen in my coaching career, because a lot of the coaching I've done has been in private. So I've been that videographer who goes and makes a great video and then just gives it to the client, and then that's it, right? That's it. And so there can be word of mouth and referrals that can happen from that, but it will be a lot less, because a lot less people know who you are. Now, the way I worked, which has been brought very much to my attention, is that I've heard breath of fresh air, breath of fresh air. A lot of people have RBF. If you don't know what it is, look it up. This is what it looks like. Right? Now, you might be having a lot of fun. You might really love what you do, and you might be a really nice, kind person. What's up, Hans, my man? What's up, brother, man? But the amount of times I've seen my buddy Steve, who does a lot of CEO, high-level CEO coaching, where, you know, the employees are scared to death of the owner because they always look kind of pissed off. They don't look very welcoming by having that kind of look on their face. And so a lot of creatives have that kind of scary, serious, you know, RBF face going on, and essentially they're unapproachable. Whereas for me, I've always been super, super, super approachable. I've had most people come up to me and they go, man, I just got to tell you, you're such a joy to watch work. Like, I could just tell you really love what you do. I just see you moving there and you're just smiling at people and interacting. And it's awesome. It's awesome to see. And then they'll say, depending on what I'm doing, hey, can I get some of your information? And so I've always found in my video career that the greatest networking I could do was doing the job. Because when I had that camera in my hand, I would run around and I would meet and connect with people, and they'd ask me and I'd be like, well, look at this cool shot I got. And I used to run around with my guide cam. And when I got into coaching, and anybody who's there in the, you know, trying to succeed purely online, I mean, the video that I've linked up here, this guy, I look at this video, I'm like, yeah, just throw my hands up in the air. The video I've linked up with the where's it at? Yeah, there it is. The video I've linked up for that. The channel is from a guy. Where's it at? Let me yeah, whatever. I put it in there, but it says the only reason Alex Hormozi is successful. Anthony Vicino. It was loaded 7 hours ago. But this guy's got 135,000 subscribers. His videos all have a ton of views. But I'm like, he's freaking super articulate. He's like, it's well edited. And I've gotten better retention on these videos like this than when I had my awesome editor doing these like really cool edits and add in, you know, motion graphics and things while I was talking. And I look at the stats and it's like people like these videos more than they like these videos where I was like really to the point, trying to keep it to 8 to 12 minutes. And then there's a little bit edited out, every little, you know, breath. Talking again, like that would be edited out. I just keep it moving, got to keep it cut in, and got B-roll and things popping up. Like, you'd think that would hold people's attention better than what I'm doing right here. And yet for me, doing this raw, live, in the moment, you know, unscripted video is where I thrive. But this is what's natural for me. It's not natural. Like, I have been pulling teeth for a decade in my life at times, trying to do things I'm not naturally inclined to do or want to do or people to work with. Like the work I got in video, you know, sometimes people will ask me, clients I have, because they'll hear my story and they'll go, well, is this somebody you think I should reach out to? And I go, I don't know. Like, do you want to work with them? Because for me, yes, I've gotten to work with Tim Ferriss and Tony Robbins and Lewis Howes and Marie Forleo and Pat Flynn and a lot of these people in the online marketing space and coaching space. But like, when I initially got that domino that fell with Tim Ferriss and then Tony Robbins, like, I genuinely wanted to meet these people. Like, yes, did I hope that things would happen from it? Sure. I'm a human being, but I didn't go into them with a tit for tat. Like, I'm doing this for you, you better do this for me. And, oh, I think that this is going to blow my career up and it's going to be huge and they're going to pay me a ton of money and this is just going to be life changing. Like, I really genuinely do not remember those being my thoughts for reaching out. I didn't think, oh, this is a strategic move that I should make. It was more, I want to meet these people. Like, I wanted to meet Tim Ferriss. I loved his book and I thought, well, I've got this skill of video. Maybe I could trade access and be able to meet him. That's the same thing I did for Tony Robbins. And sure, was there timing, chance, and luck? I mean, I found out that they were potentially going to work with this other guy who made some videos actually for Tim Ferriss with Tony Robbins. And when they happened to get my email, they were in some kind of negotiations and it wasn't quite working out. So they got on a call with me. Like, if I maybe wouldn't have sent the Tim Ferriss thing in with it, maybe I wouldn't have got the call. Like there's so many nuances. And how many other people have tried to email Tim Ferriss and they don't get, they don't ever get a reply. And so I've had a lot of things where I've been able to be strategic at times. Like I've had people I've literally wanted to work with. I've wanted to work with them, but I've been strategic in the sense of, okay, they post every few days, whatever. And I'm like this kind of virtual stalker. And I'm like, I see them post and I immediately leave a comment and private message them right then because I feel like it gives me the greatest chance of seeing my message versus it getting buried. And lo and behold, that kind of stuff has worked. So it's not that I'm never being strategic, but even when I do those things, they don't always work out. But the bottom line of this message today is how many people are really aware of what you do and are they clear about what you do? I can tell you in my video career as a collective whole, I mastered that and I spent 18 years gaining clarity, confidence, focus, and direction, and building up a product that was easy to go, I want that. And that made a huge difference in my life and my career there. Whereas in coaching, I've stopped and started and gone in so many different directions and fallen off planet Earth. I've done videos like this for a few weeks and then I've disappeared for a few years. And, some of my closest friends sometimes like, I don't know what you do. Right. And if you followed me for a while, tell me what I do. I'd love for you to tell me in the comments what you think I do, especially if you've never worked with me privately. Obviously, the people who've worked with me privately and have had a private experience, they're pretty clear overall. But people who haven't actually like reached out to me and had a personal private interaction, they don't really know exactly how I'm going to help. What does coaching look like? What does that actually mean? And I do a range of things. I'm not a one size fits all guy. I'm a what size fits you. I ask a lot of questions. I don't even necessarily like the word coaching or counseling or consulting or therapy. I'm a high level conversationalist in a lot of ways. I am able to see blind spots and hear things and see things that you might not be seeing, you might not be hearing, you might not know about. I mean, I have the amount of stuff in here that depending on what somebody says to me gets triggered, that then I'm able to tell stories and say things based on you that's going to affect you completely differently than somebody else. And so I don't just come in with this cookie cutter approach to having a conversation. And being able to figure out what are the blind spots you have, what is holding you back, what is having you have so much stress and anxiety and worry and frustration and feeling stuck and confused. And if we can bring awareness and bring clarity to what's going on, then you can start to move forward. Because at times we're paralyzed first. Nobody knows who we are because we're not taking any action. Then we could be taking a lot of action, but we're still doing things in such a way where we can be confused. Like I haven't been confused why I've made less money in the last year and a half. I've been kind of taking it easy overall. I'm just being honest. Not because I'm loaded either, mind you. But it's just been really nice. I worked really hard for a very, very, very long time. And I'm able to capitalize on certain things where opportunities here and there can come in. They don't take a lot of effort. They make a good chunk of money. And it allows me to really not have to, put in, I remember working almost, it felt like 12 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week to make $60,000 my first year in business. And then that was 2006. And we did almost 400,000 in 2012. And I probably had 400 to 600 transactions in 2006 to make that 60 grand, working what felt like literally every day, to making almost 400,000 in 2012, having maybe 30 to 40 transactions. Half of the revenue came from 2 clients. And quite frankly, I was distracted and wasn't even spending probably 2/3 of the year working on my video company. I'd hired some people and they were doing an incredible job. So where you're at and where somebody else is at and the advice you're getting, and especially from this, I try to share stories and analogies and all these different things, but the best work I can do is when I get to work with an individual. And so I'm going to do more of that publicly coming up here. And again, if you want to do that, I would love for you to send me a message somewhere. You can probably the best place is either themindmechanic.net/Voxer. I'll put that in the chat here real quick. http:// mind. So you can either that up there, themindmechanic.net/Voxer. You can go there, or I'll put in there in Facebook as well. These are kind of the 2 best places to send me a message. But on my profile, Gebs86. So I do private coaching, and then I'm also going to start doing more public stuff on here. I'm doing this stuff to get the ball rolling, but I definitely want to spend more time getting on here with people and in public, working with people so that they can. How do you get that off there? There we go. But anyways, so that's the story. But it just the way this video and this guy spelled it out, I'm like, that's exactly it. You know, I've spent thousands of hours coaching people. I am literally coaching in private 2 to 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, since 2019. I have almost not skipped a beat. There's maybe 1 or 2 weeks in that entire time that I have not spent anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, sometimes 4 or 5 hours or more, but almost 5 days a week. And yet that is still helping individuals one to one to one. And it's very fulfilling. It's very fun. It's very impactful and I enjoy it. But from a marketing standpoint, I'm left with those single individuals to tell people. And it's not that they don't want to, it's not that they don't. But again, just like the scenario I gave at the beginning of this video, the 2 videographers doing the exact same thing, but one puts it online and maybe boosted and gets it to be shared, and one does the same day edit as well, and they're super friendly. Like I had a whole trifecta of things working for me that just created an avalanche effect. Whereas even though I've gotten incredible results for people, I've done far less in public in the realm of coaching and speaking than I had in video. And so, like I said, if you're, stuck and confused right now, start to think about that. You might be doing a lot. You might be really busy, but how many people actually are aware and clear of what you do and how you help? And that'll give you a lot of clarity to why you might not be getting the leads that you'd like to get and making the money that you'd like to make. Because just because you're going through the motions doesn't mean people either are aware of what you do or even know what you do. And so anyways, that's my objective, to continue in this world that you've experienced right now, to make that more and more abundantly clear. Because I took a assessment from my buddy Steve. It's a really cool assessment. One of the parts that measures self-esteem. And believe it or not, in 2020, my self-esteem was a 20 out of a 100 based on the way it's measured. It's currently a 90 out of a 100. I'm not lacking in confidence and belief in that I can help. But I was just kind of chilling out, doing more things in private. I've done so many things in the past. I was kind of exhausted and tired. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll figure this out. But I had trust and faith that it'll all work out. But not everybody has the ability to do that depending on their situation. Like I said, it's not because I'm loaded, but I'm ready to rock and roll, and I'm excited for you to be here, excited for you to send a message. And if you want to work together privately, if you want to be on here publicly in the future, I'm either going to pull people on camera. I've got a new way to have people be able to do call-ins. So I'm excited to play with that. But I just want to get on here more and more. I think I've done one every day this week so far. So I'm really excited about that. Just building that muscle and putting the practice in. So appreciate you listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, send me a message. I love hearing from you all. I love the feedback. Yeah, that's why I do these live. It's so much easier and so much more fun to do this live. And then definitely the next layer up will be to do it with people on camera. Yeah, super pumped. If you found value in this, please give it a like, please give it a comment, send me a message, say hello, and have a great day. And I don't know if I'll do any over the weekend. We'll see, but have an incredible weekend, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye.